Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's webinar, Understanding the Local Government Pension Scheme. My name is Barry Richards. I'm one of the retirement education specialists here at AVC Wise. Bit about my background is I work directly for the Prudential, specialising in all things AVCs. A few things to cover off before we begin. The content of the webinar is provided for educational purposes and does not constitute financial advice. Information given is based on our current understanding of taxation, legislation and regulations. Any levels and bases of and relation taxation are subject to change. Tax treatment is based on individual circumstances, may be subject to change in the future. Fund values can fall as well as rise. Past performance shouldn't be used as a guide to future performance. So today we're going to cover an overview of the local government pension scheme and the benefits associated by being a member. And more specifically, we're going to have a look at the key benefits you have being within that local government pension scheme, how the three sections of the scheme differ for calculation purposes, how it is that you can increase your retirement benefits, when it is that you can actually retire, and any next steps to take. So let's first of all then just take a look at your local government pension scheme and the key benefits that it provides. Now, firstly, it gives you security. So your local government pension scheme is a defined benefit pension. Therefore, you're secure in the knowledge that based on the years of service and the salary amounts that you've been paid over that period, you're going to get a guaranteed income that's paid every month for the rest of your life. Now, importantly, your pension is index linked, so it increases with inflation each year. And this really is one of the best features of that local government pension. So your pension increases by CPI, the consumer price index, to protect that buying power of your yearly pension income. You also get tax relief on your contributions automatically at the source, which means it's a really tax efficient way of saving money, and you don't generally need to worry about claiming tax relief back. You also have a death in service tax-free lump sum, which is 3 times your salary, and that's paid out when you die and goes to your nominated beneficiaries, subject to pension fund approval. Now, also in retirement, if you were to die, that pension doesn't die with you, as there's a survivor's pension, where up to 50% of that pension would be payable to your spouse, civil or cohabiting partner, or eligible child in certain conditions. And remember, it's not just you that's contributing to your main scheme pension, your employer pays into it too. This tends to be around 18 to 20% of salary. So your employer is generally paying around double the amount that you're contributing. You've also got the possibility of taking what's referred to as flexible retirement. We could draw on some or all of your pension and be in receipt of this, while then going back to work on reduced hours and carrying on being a member of the scheme. Now, please note this isn't a contractual right and it would always be down to your employer's discretion. If you were to come into financial hardship where you were maybe struggling to make ends meet and couldn't afford your standard main scheme contributions, you do have the opportunity to go into what's called the 50-50 section, where you contribute half your normal contributions and build up half your normal pension, while still retaining full life and ill health cover. Now, you do also have ill health protection, and this can be paid from any age if you can't work due to ill health without reductions. Now, to qualify for this benefit, though, you will require at least 2 years' service, and that's subject to medical certification. If you're lucky enough to have been in the scheme before 2009, you would have also been building up an automatic tax-free lump sum for when you retire. And we'll go to a bit more detail on that shortly. So that's just an overview of the main benefits that your local government pension scheme provides. Now, some of you may be aware that local government pension scheme has changed a number of times over the years. So we're going to have a quick look at what these changes were and how the sections of the scheme differ for calculation purposes. Now, all of you here today, and it doesn't matter when you joined, will now be part of the Career Average Revalued Earnings section, also known as the CARE section. This has been in place since April 2015. Now, for every year you're in this section, you're banking 1/49th of whatever your annual salary has been within that year. So, for example, if your salary is £49,000 and you're working full time over a full year, you would have banked £1,000 of pension income per year for the rest of your life in retirement. So as the years go by, you'll build up so many 49ths within the section. And the great news is that it's revalued by CPI each year, which means you're securing the knowledge that each 49th of your salary that you're banking each year is going to be going up in line with that consumer price index and protecting that buying power of your annual pension income. Then when you retire and take your benefits, all of those 49ths that you've banked are added together, and this will form your annual pension in retirement. Now, one important thing to note with this section is that your normal retirement age will be the higher of 65 or your state pension age. Now, many of you here today will also have service built up before April 2015. So if you're in the scheme between April 2009 to the March 2015, you're also going to have membership of one of the former final salary sections of local government. This particular one was known as the final salary 60th section. Now, this ran for 6 years. So if you've been working full time in this period, and remember for the full 6 years it was in operation, you would have built up 6/60ths of your final salary. And the good news for you is that your final salary isn't determined by the date that section finished back in 2014. Instead, they'll use that final salary you're on just before you retire to calculate your benefits in the final salary section. Now, some of you may also have service prior to April 2009, and anyone that does would also have been a member of what was known as the final salary 80th section. So if you worked 1 year full time, you would get 1/80th of your final salary, working on the same principle as that 60th section, and it's linked to the salary you end up finishing on and not tied to when the section ended. So with this section, you weren't getting quite as good a deal as the 60th section when it comes to annual pension. However, with this section, you'd have also built up an automatic lump sum in addition to your annual pension. So the best of both worlds with this one is you're getting that guaranteed income as well as an automatic tax-free lump sum. So that's the three sections of the local government pension scheme. And this is why when you get your annual benefit statement, it can look a bit confusing, especially if you've been a member of all three sections. But towards the back of that statement, it'll show all those sections added together, and this will tell you what your total pension amount will be when you retire. Now, we also sometimes get asked the question, when exactly are you allowed to retire? So you are able to access your pension as long as you're over the minimum retirement age, which is currently age 55. The latest you can choose to access your pension is age 75. So as long as you're currently between age 55 and 75, you can access your local government pension. Now, do bear in mind that if you choose to access that pension before your normal pension age, reductions will typically apply. And it'll mean your pension may be less than what you perhaps thought it would be. This is down to two reasons. The first reason is you'll have less years in the scheme if you retire early. As I mentioned in that care section, you're banking 1/49th of your salary every year that you work as an annual pension amount. So if you leave work early, you're going to be missing out on that membership you would have been building within the scheme. Secondly, it's because the local government scheme will apply an actuarial reduction to your annual pension amount. The pension fund knows they'd need to pay out that annual pension income for longer than they initially expected to, due to retiring earlier than your normal pension age. Now, there can be some instances where that actuarial reduction may not apply. So, if you're made redundant after the age of 55, the pension fund wouldn't apply an actuarial reduction. And it's also the case if you were to lose your job due to business efficiency reasons. But the vast majority of the time, if you access your pension before your normal pension age, that actuarial reduction will apply. So, the biggest consideration you'll normally have on deciding to retire early is on deciding if you can afford to see that drop in annual pension income due to having less years of membership in the scheme, and of course any actuarial reduction too. So to illustrate the potential impact of retiring early, we're going to have a look at Sarah here and see what happened to her pension when she decided to retire 3 years early at the age of 64 instead of 67. So Sarah's decided then she wants to go at 64. She'd like to go a bit earlier to allow her to enjoy the things in life that are important to her, such as spending more time with her family and being able to go on some holidays. Now, you'd think that going just 3 years early wouldn't have too much of an impact on Sarah's annual pension, which is due to be £14,277. Well, in actual fact, by Sarah retiring just those 3 years early and accessing a local government pension at 64, it wipes over £4,000 off her annual pension, which is a massive hit for her to take. Now, as we've just mentioned, there's a couple of reasons for this. So first of all, the number of years of membership in the pension scheme is reduced. So Sarah's missing out on 3/49ths of her annual pension by going 3 years early. Secondly, it's because the local government pension scheme are now applying an actuarial reduction to her annual pension amount. The pension fund knows they now need to pay Sarah that pension for 3 years longer than they would have needed to had she retired at 67. And that's not just 1 year she has to deal with this £4,000 reduction. This is going to be every year for the rest of her retirement. So some of you here today may be thinking you would like to retire early, but how do you feel about that having such a significant impact on your pension? How important is it for you to be able to retire early? And if it is that important, are you prepared to do some additional saving to make it a reality? So what are your options then to boosting your retirement benefits? Well, one option you have is called additional pension contributions, or APCs. And this works on the basis that you're buying extra guaranteed annual pension income in retirement. So you tell the local government pension scheme upfront how much extra yearly pension income you'd like to buy, with a maximum being just over £7,000 per year. Now, as the APCs are a pension, you're still going to get tax relief on your contributions and you're buying guaranteed index linked income. However, this extra income that you purchase will die with you. So, unlike your normal main scheme pension, where your nominated beneficiary can get up to 50% of that pension until they pass, this doesn't happen with APCs. Secondly, unlike with your main scheme, there's no employer contribution into APCs. And another factor to consider is any pension income that you receive in retirement is also potentially taxable. Lastly, the APC arrangement isn't really that flexible as you enter into a contract with APCs that's non-negotiable. So they are pretty expensive for what they offer, so the uptake does tend to be quite low. You'll find typically, on average, you'll need to be 15 years into your retirement just to break even on what you've had to pay for them. So they can provide you with extra pension income in retirement, albeit at quite a high cost. But what about tax-free cash? Now, whatever pension scheme you belong to in the UK, you're allowed to take up to 25% of the benefits as a tax-free lump sum. So when you get to retirement, you've got the option that you could decide to exchange some of your yearly pension income in retirement to take more tax-free cash. But what would actually happen to your local government pension if you did decide to take tax-free cash from it? So you'll have your annual local government pension at retirement, whatever that amount is in your case, and you could decide to give up £1 of your annual pension income in exchange for £12 of tax-free cash. Again, on the face of it, that might sound like a good deal, but in reality, that would be a whole £1,000 of guaranteed pension income per year that you're losing for every £12,000 of tax-free cash that you take. So it's almost the equivalent of, on the day you leave work, somebody says, I'll put £12 in your hand today and that's it, or I'll give you £1 every year right up until the day you die, and every year that pound is going to go up with inflation. And if you think about average life expectancy, especially if you are looking to retire early, that might not work out to be such a good deal. The only way you could really see commutation to tax-free cash as a good deal is if, unfortunately, you're not going to be around that long in your retirement. But what if there was a way then you could build up a nice tax-free cash pot of money for retirement that didn't have any impact on your valuable local government pension income? And this is where you can use a local government shared cost AVC to be really tax efficient, really make your money work for you, and do so importantly without damaging your local government or state pension. So when you're paying into a shared cost AVC, you're not only benefiting from tax relief on those contributions, you're also saving on national insurance contributions too. So you're actually getting a double tax break every month as you pay into your AVC. You've then got the potential to take your whole AVC pot all back as tax-free cash when you take it at the same time as your main scheme pension. There are always upper limits based on the value of your pension. You've got the flexibility as well to amend those contributions as often as you like, with the minimum contribution being just £2 per month. So let's have a look then at what it actually costs you from your salary to pay an amount into a shared cost AVC. Now, if you're an intermediate rate taxpayer and you wanted to pay £250 into a shared cost AVC, it's only going to cost you £172.95 from your take home pay to do it. Now, that actually works out as an uplift of 44.45%. So, for anybody here this afternoon that's maybe got money in savings or an ISA or whatever it may be, if you just have a think on what your current returns on that would look like. Now, I appreciate the AVC is a pension arrangement, so you won't be able to access that money until your minimum retirement age. However, if you can get a 44.45% uplift on your money there, this is obviously a huge amount of savings to be making every single month as that AVC money goes into your AVC. So if we go back and look at the impact of retiring early, well, Sarah, as we know, wanted to retire 3 years early at age 64. So how can her AVC help to do that? So she pays into her AVC, she saves on both her tax and her national insurance, and then she looks to take her AVC all back as a tax-free lump sum. And Sarah uses that tax-free lump sum from her AVC to help bridge the gap between retiring early and then getting a state pension and local government pension at 67. So she's got this tax-free lump sum to do the things she wants to do. Now she has the time and good health to do them, whether that's going on holidays, replacing the car, or just spending more time with family. By taking that AVC along with her local government pension, that's given her the ability to take it all as a tax-free lump sum. So for anybody here this afternoon who hasn't yet taken advantage of the scheme, you just log into your AVC Wise account, click on the new application button, enter your details and select the fund or funds that you want to invest in. And within that application, you can download the fund guide. This will give you details about all your available options. You can also change that fund choice at any point. Once you submit the application, it goes straight to your payroll for them to do their checks on, and it'll take effect from your next available pay run. And your AVCs will then be set up with your AVC provider, which would either be the Prudential or Standard Life. For anybody already paying into an AVC and you want to amend the amount, you simply log into your AVC Wise account, click on Manage My Shared Cost AVC, and simply enter the new amount that you wish to pay going forward. We do appreciate some of you may need some extra help when it comes to setting up an AVC. So you have got the opportunity of booking a one-to-one meeting with us. That might be with myself or one of my colleagues here at AVC Wise. These meetings last up to 20 minutes, take place on Microsoft Teams. This is where we can give you a helping hand to set up your shared cost AVC. As mentioned, there is always a maximum amount you're allowed to build up in your AVC and get it all back as tax-free cash. That's something that we can actually calculate here for you. All you need to do in advance of those meetings is get a local government projection to your desired retirement age, an up-to-date value of your AVC pot, and also an up-to-date payslip. As you can see at the bottom of that slide there, we can't provide any financial advice or investment advice at the meeting, but we can give you factual information and a bit of guidance to help you get your AVCs up and running there. It's a completely free service, 20 minutes on Teams, so we'd always recommend you do take full advantage where you can. If you do need to get in contact with us after today, if you did need an individual meeting, you just email us at support@avcwise.co.uk. Now, if you just have a quick question that you need answered, we have a live chat facility on our website, or you can always just pick up the phone and give us a call. Please check out our Knowledge Hub as well. We've got all the key benefits of the AVC down into bite-sized chunks and videos for you. We've also got a really handy projection calculator, and that's where you can input any figures that you are maybe thinking of paying or increasing paying into your AVC. That'll highlight to you the tax and national insurance savings that you'll make, and also what you could potentially build that AVC pot up to. When you log into your account, you'll also see we've got an organisation specific frequently asked questions document for you, where we've put together the A to Z of every question that we've been asked about the AVC into a handy document for you. And lastly, you'll see if you need any information about your main local government scheme, you can find these on the LGPS member website there as well. So the key message to take away this afternoon is, although that local government pension scheme is no doubt a fantastic arrangement to be in, you do need to ask yourself, is it going to be enough to achieve the goals that you have for retirement? So is working to state pension age something that you're happy to do? And if you would like to retire earlier, are you going to have enough money to bridge the gap and mitigate the actuarial reductions that can be applied to your pension there? Shared Cost AVC allows you to save additional money for retirement in this really tax efficient way. And then you've got this unique opportunity that's only available to local government members, where you could potentially then take that whole pot of money that you built up all back again as a tax-free lump sum. So now more than ever, it is vital to make your money work as hard as possible for you. So the sooner you take action and start to plan for your retirement, the easier it's going to be to reach those retirement goals. I hope this afternoon has been of help to you and helped to highlight what a great opportunity you have here. And you do go on to reach those goals. Now you've seen just how achievable it can be. So finally, many thanks for your attendance again this afternoon, everyone, and have a great remainder of the day. Thanks a lot. Bye now.